litigation, rapes, and other things. So last year, an issue occurred in Benin, to be precise, Benin City. There is this girl, young girl, I think about 9 years. His dad was a rich man and one of the rural leader, like a chief in his community. He raped the girl. I think she was pregnant, was aborted. Then after then again, a few months later, she was raped again, couple of times. And the mother has to speak out. So several NGOs within Benin get involved. As LAPO, we like one of the biggest in Benin, or we are the biggest in Benin because we cover about 28 states in Nigeria. So we get into it and we try to get legal fight and all against the man. So as the justice was going on, because this man is rich and is diabolical also. So I have to put that in quotes. The issue was in court for a while. We got, I think, FIDA involved. I don't know, maybe you may know about FIDA. They are also about women rights activists. So along the line, because the whole case was so clear, the man at the time, he agreed to the court like, okay, it's true. I have been raping my daughter. She has been once pregnant for me.
Sorry, my sincere apologies. I know this is really important from your work, but two key things. I would love for you to, arrive quickly.
Okay.
Yes.
So along the line, I think the day the judge, after a lot of postponements, tried to push further and all, the day the justice was supposed to take place, something terrible happened. Everyone that was against that man, on their way to the court, not one vehicle, different vehicle from different directions, they all had accidents and died. Everybody. Everybody. They all had accidents at different locations and they were all dead, including the girl. So getting to the court, there was no eyewitness, there was no girl to testify against his dad anymore, and the man said, I agreed that I raped my daughter under duress. So I did not rape her. And there's no one to fight against him again. We tried to raise up the issue over and over again after them, but nothing actually happened till today. This man is in the streets, walking, nothing is happening to him.
Okay.
Another one happened recently again.
I'm going to have to cut you there. I'm going to have to, because I want to go through all of the questions, and we may have some feedback from the panelists. That was number 2, right? Because we skipped number 1. Okay. Yeah, so maybe you can go back. I'll ask that, please. I know I've asked for your contribution. I really don't want to hurry you up, but 2 key things. Please, let's be concise, and also let's keep it within the context of our conversation. It's digital rights, digital inclusion. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sojime Bo. I'm a teacher, a public school teacher, and I run a social enterprise within a community, Twin Pinion Hubs, where I train teenagers who don't have access to technology within the community. And over the years, we'll be training, and we keep training. But the challenge we have, the major challenge that we'll be facing, at times we have to shut down, at times we have to revive again. It is the issue of internet cost. And it's a big issue. Because I work as a public school teacher, in most cases, I use my salary to finance this project because when I see students don't have access to these devices, and at times I cried. And it's becoming an issue to me. I've cried to many individuals, that some people in the community have supported us just to keep doing what we're doing. But internet of a thing, at times we make us to shut down for 2 months, revive again. So the constant is not there. And we have lot of teenagers, lot of students from the low-cost family who don't have access, and we want to do more. What is the way forward to this? Thank you.
Thank you for being so precise. And what community is that, by the way? In which country?
Okay. In Nigeria, I work in Ipajayobo. Yes, I know the sub-community. Thank you.
Within Lagos State. All right. Where's number 3? Yes, she's number 3. She's number 3. Access.
Hi, thank you. My name is Dorothy Nawakoza. I'm from Uganda. I have a small NGO that trains digital skills. I told it's small because it's so big, I can't explain it.
So big, it's small. Great.
Yeah, so it trains ICT to children. However, I'm not only looking at children these days, I also expanded into small women with small, medium enterprises and small businesses. However, my problem last year was the introduction of OTT. It's the over-the-top tax. It's very bad and very challenging. The poor are no longer included because if you can't pay for it, then you can't use it. And then how am I now telling you to start practicing digital inclusion, learning ICT, if you're even going to pay more to access some of the things like social media? You can't put your business online. Basically, that is my biggest challenge.
Thank you for raising the issue of taxation, and this we saw across many countries. The good thing is we've seen a report from Uganda. Number of internet users have since gone down since that was introduced. So I hope someone is hearing the feedback. We're going towards number 4 right now. Number 4, yes, that's number 4, and then number 5.
Good morning. My name is Ilamusi.
We can hardly hear her.
Okay. Good morning.
Now, yes.
Okay. My name is Ilamusi Ekenimo, and I'm a research fellow with the African Academic Network on Internet Policy. So one thing that I faced last year, this year particularly, is because I do a lot of research, is access to the internet. Like data prices in Nigeria, like he said, are very high. And then even when you have access to the internet, then the connectivity is a problem. And you find out that your data plans expire very quickly. And another issue that I've had is even awareness. A lot of people are not aware of the fact that they have digital rights and they need to be included, even educated people, especially educated people. So they say, oh, I pay for my data, okay, it doesn't work, but it's not a concern to them that they are sort of restricted in accessing the internet. So those are the two challenges I faced: access to the internet and then awareness about the lack of access to the internet.
Interesting. 2 layers. All right, let's have number 5. Maybe we'll squeeze in number 6 and then we'll maybe just number 6. Okay, maybe just number 5 for now.
Okay.
Number 5. Don't worry. All of the time we have left is for this conversation. You're not an afterthought, trust me.
Yeah. Good day. Arinze Uzaze. I work as a researcher in Geospatial Links. Geospatial Link is a research firm and GIS consultancy firm. My major challenge I faced last year was the accessibility to internet and data. By that I mean information in rural communities. Last year we tried to work on a volunteer program where we tried to carry out environmental conservation on ocean. My biggest problem was the fact that if you go to most of these villages, internet and data is a problem. They don't even know anything what's even going on. There's a disparity where the urban centers have high accessibility to internet and data, whereas the rural areas are left out of the grid. That's my major challenge.
Thank you. I see we have a few repeated issues. So if you don't mind, let me take a few more, and then so can we have another round of 5? I saw a few hands up already. Where are the microphones? So from the table, okay. Can we have a mic for? Oh yes, it says please don't walk into my camera. Find a way. Someone is protective of their shots, huh? But she has to get to the front with the mic. It's okay, you can walk into the shot, yes. The mic, Yasmin, right? Did you raise your hand? Okay. So I saw Yasmin. You can give her the mic for now. I've seen this gentleman, he's like, I'm in your face. 2, and I can really see you, I can see you. I like those colors. 3, number 4, the lady in white. Number 5, the gentleman with the 5, and then you'll be 6, and that will be it for now. And then I'll come back. All right. So let's have Yasmin.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Yasmine Bilkis Ibrahim. Ma question est pour Madame Ba. Je travaille à Sierra Leone avec les ados filles et vous m'avez dit l'histoire de le mariage précoce et je travaille avec les ados qui font la mutilation de génitales femmes comme ça. Et comment est-ce que vous avez utilisé votre plateforme pour expliquer ou discuter les issues sociaux? Merci.
Okay, so let's have, yes, let's have the mic here. And can I ask, for those who were at the back, is there anyone who raised their hands that I didn't see? That was just brought to my attention. Okay, I see. We'll come to the two of you, and then we'll wrap it up.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joshua Uba. I am a Google Policy Fellow intern with PPDC, Public and Private Development Center in Abuja. We are into procurement governance, and recently we've included digital right and safer internet. My question would border on checkmating the excesses of the internet. Yes. Recently, we had an issue in one of our African countries where a girl was actually, a minor, was actually auctioned on, I wouldn't want to mention the particular platform, was auctioned and sold into marriage on that purpose. As we are advocating for digital inclusion, I would want to avert our mind, how do we police the internet? How do we checkmate so that rights of minors, and in fact rights of every other persons, are not abused while we embrace the internet? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure you saw my eyes go bright when you said police. Okay, we've got a lady here, then we'll go towards the back. We have a second mic.
Hello, my name is Bukola Oronti. I'm with the Internet Society. My question is to the panelists, especially the woman with the Human Rights Watch. How do you handle cases that, you gave an example, the one that touched that, the baby that did not get justice. Now, psychologically, how do you manage it? Because at times when I see some things online, when I hear some things, at times I don't even want to watch the TV. I don't even want to read some information because I find it difficult to even process such information. So when you're not working on such cases, how do you get yourself back to the world? Yeah. Then my second question aligns with the other guy that used the word police, but I don't want to use alien list. And one of the executives of Internet Society Sri Lanka said the government is kind of trying to shut down, looking at it from the security perspective. So I'm not in support of the shutdown, but how do we enlighten people on their excesses when they are behind the screen on the internet? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, so if you could go to the table in the middle, there are two people on that table. We'll take the brief comments they have. Then I'll come back to you. Then we'll go to the table at the very back. We'll take those two comments. Then I see Henriette.
Right now, we're trying to reach girls in rural communities, even all those camps, IDP camps and all that. But one thing is that if you get there, no access to internet, even if you're trying to teach them the basic skills, digital skills and all that, how do you now use internet to do all those things? Because if you make all these things accessible and affordable, I think these children will do wonders. If you go to those places, you will just cry. You'll be like, wow, is this really Nigeria? These people are just like they are in another planet altogether. So we need to take this internet into rural areas, not just Lagos and Abuja. We need to really enter those suburb areas.
All right, thank you. The digital divide is real. Yes, sir.
Yeah, a very good morning to you all. Thank you, the panelists. My question, first of all, goes to Segun Amausi. Mama, you've been so great for your impactful work in the civil society space. My question is this: how you were talking about organizing, and I find that as a young person, one of the major problems we have in this country and in Africa is that young people are not organized. how can we use the internet to begin to front this innovation so that young people can be issue-based in what they are doing, understanding the scope, and how they could use the internet to really drive the change they want to see? Because right now you see more than 19% of young people on Facebook, they post rubbish, not even issues that even affect their common area. While you see some in the other part of the world, they just drop issues, and that issues can form a revolution. So how do we as young people, because through some of the work we do, I'm from Edo State, community organizing, I've seen it as one of the key things that is lacking among young people and among achieving the results we want to see. So how do you think we could actually get ourselves organized using the internet? Because truly I'm tired of grammar. I want to see results. That is why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure that passion was why you quoted that unverifiable 90% qualified with rubbish. Okay, don't worry. Yes, on that table. I think we have 3 people on that table. Yes, I see you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hamid Khayar Umar Defalla. I'm from Chad, and I work as an IT manager and a researcher at the National Development Center. And I'm focused on ICT access. And it's been a year now, like the censorship in Chad is still ongoing.
Yeah.
And if we talk to the government, they will tell us that it's just because of the election time and now it's done. And if you go to the provider, he will say, no, the government. So we don't know where to situate the exact problem. Is it the government or is it the providers? Because the providers also are playing, because we understand that it's, in terms of cost, it's too expensive to get access through the social network, through the VPN. So it's still ongoing. In Chad, if you want to access social media, you have to have a VPN installed in your phone, mobile, until you get access. So how can we overcome those kind of obstacles, and how do we situate the responsibility? Is it the government or is it the providers? Thank you.
Thank you so much for highlighting that, and I'm glad you're from Chad. For those who don't, I'm sure everyone knows, Chad has literally, social media in Chad has been offline for 1 year and 1 month. 13 months. When Cameroon went offline for 90 days, we got upset. Now we have been upset, re-upset, re-upset, uber upset, and so that's really critical. Yes, we're still on that table.
Morning, everyone. My name is Burhan. As I guess the Ethiopian in the room, it feels really good not to be given as the worst example. Thank you, Tanzania, for taking that mantle away from us. You can keep it. So one thing that I wanted, so there are 2 things that I wanted. The first one is we're seeing the traditional human rights organization like Human Rights Watch and everybody else coming to our side and also equally freaking out as we are. And it's really interesting that Amnesty International is currently hiring a lot of technologists. So I really want to ask our colleague over there that's heading the Africa group if you guys are trying to sort of expand in that space. We know it's not just Ethiopia that has bought malwares. We know Togo, Senegal, and many other countries are also on this. So how are you guys trying to sort of cover the digital space as well? And the other thing I think that sort of snuck up on us without really noticing is biometric identification and digital IDs in this space. Many countries have already passed that stage and they have digital IDs already. And now we're all, again, freaking out, going like, okay, where's the data? Who has it? How are we going to organize against it? Who are we going to sue? So I think those are the things that is looking at right now for us.
All right, thank you.
My name is Bosun. I work with International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, a member of CGIAR system based in Montpellier, France. Our focus is majorly on Africa, but there are tools that we have developed for smallholder farmers to eradicate hunger in Africa. Now the challenge is the inclusion of the women and the youths that are based in rural communities. I'll give examples of Nigeria, Ghana, Chad, Mali, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. Kenya has moved far. We have developed tools that can help farmers, that their yield maybe is 1 to to be increased to about 4. But we found out that these tools, as much as they are digital, the main targets that we're looking at, who are the women, because we observed that in Africa, about 65% of farm produce that come from smallholders farm are from women. The women have not been given adequate access to internet. And all these mobile apps that we do, as much as they do not consume much internet access, and they help farmers to determine when there's going to be drought or how best to get a best yield on the particular crops, we can't get hold of it. What can be done? I mentioned those countries because those countries, the level of internet penetration is very poor. Even in Nigeria, it's very poor when it comes to the rural areas.
Okay.
What
can we do?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. So I'll just jump very quickly to Henriette, and then we've got a gentleman on this table. And, oh, there's one more person on that table? Okay. Can we keep it very, very brief? We've got 7 minutes, and I'll take these questions, and then we'll come here and close it out. So can you do that in 30 seconds, sir?
Sure.
Okay.
My name is Anthony. I am from Junior Achievement Nigeria. Okay, I'll go straight to the point. What can we do in the area of promoting internet ethics? Because we find out that the people that are
in the area of what, sir?
Internet ethics.
Internet ethics. Okay.
Yes.
Can I please ask you to close the question there? Do you mind?
Okay.
Because that's such a powerful phrase that it captures what you want to say. Thank you so much for using that. Okay, Henriette.
Thanks, Benga. Henriette Esterhuizen, Association for Progressive Communications and African Declaration on Internet Rights and Freedoms. And my question to the panel, are we winning or are we losing? Very simply, there is more penetration, there's much more awareness of rights, but there's also much more awareness of rights from those that want to shut rights down. So just what do you feel is the net effect at this point in time? Are we winning or losing?
Or are we losing? Thank you. All right, gentlemen, you've got the chance for the home run. Go for it.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Bioro Ajayi, and I'm the team lead for Gender Mobile Initiative in Lagos State. This is a platform where survivors of rape and abuse report cases of such. And I want to actually talk to Mrs. Mausi. Is there any way we can actually partner together? Because we run an online application where survivors of rapes and abuse can actually report cases of such, where we have volunteers of doctors and lawyers who provide free services to these survivors of rapes and abuse. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll come back to the panelists, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with you, Manuela. There's some questions that are, kind of government specific, and I would love for you to speak about Chad also, because countries need to start telling each other the truth on this continent. You can't just copy the bad habits alone. You copy taxes, so copy the good things also. So let's hear you.
Okay, so the question that I'll start first with is because this is something that we also had to focus on is criminalizing offenses, and in as much as we know that the internet has a lot of positive aspects, there are negative aspects to it. And one thing that we specifically did was we acceded to certain conventions that will enable us criminalize these things in our country. So we recently acceded to and ratified the Budapest Convention, which criminalizes certain offenses, like child online pornography and all these issues. And through that and through these international laws, we are able to localize them and legislate them into our own laws. And we didn't do that absent from different institutions. We actually included judiciary, every relevant stakeholder in criminalizing these offenses. We included them in the National Cybersecurity Technical Working Group so that we can work together to have a very comprehensive law, a holistic law that can look at the gaps from their end and from our end and how we can reconcile them to create a more formidable law, if you will. And the other issue that I think we can address is in regards to costs. I think that's a challenge usually in African countries, because at first we used to look at the internet as sort of a luxury. I mean, it was a luxury to have a laptop or a mobile phone, but right now it's not a luxury anymore. It's becoming the voice of people, it's becoming the voice of change. So I think one issue is how do we prioritize it in our policies to ensure that we gap the inequality between those who have access to internet and gadgets and those who don't have access to it. Chad, what? In 10 seconds. What exactly would you like me to say about that?
I'd like you at the next African Union meeting to talk about copying good practices and condemning bad habits. All right. Thank you.
I think, you didn't want me to answer
Yes,
that?
yes.
Okay, so I think in regards to Chad, I mean, it's one of those issues that I feel personally, or maybe we feel has not been highlighted as much as it needs to be. But then, personally, when we are looking at conventions and we are looking at ways that we can enhance democracy, we need to pull together people along. If you have a best practice, you need to help other countries also practice these things. So.
All right. Thank you for that commitment that we'll follow up on. All right. In maybe a minute and a half, I know there were a lot of questions, but the good news is we've got today and tomorrow in some other smaller groups, and you're still with us. So take it away.
Yeah, it was just amazing to hear how many questions and comments about sex and gender-based violence. It's really, I think, something that we need to keep an eye on. And I'm also just encouraged by the fact that there is a growing awareness from different constituencies on how the issue is serious and the way of tackling it. So I think we have seen citizen initiative on the internet. This is to respond to a question about the youth engagement. I'm very hopeful and really very positive about youth engagement. I'm seeing lots of things happening. You see Benin, tax per memo, what happened? You know, I see initiatives around, I was saying earlier on, ecology. Currently one of the main successful initiative about internet, citizen engagement, with the internet to change things in Senegal is Save Dakar. It's about celebrity, it's about cleaning. You have seen also the hashtag trash challenge. So there are things happening. And I think we should build on that and try to see how best practices can be shared. That's where documentation is very important. And I think the report on internet freedom and digital inclusion have been bringing forward, you know, some of these good things that have been happening. And I would like us to keep positive and say we are winning. There are challenges, but we are winning because there is a very high consciousness about what the challenges are. And there are some positive forces, even though we keep lagging behind, because our government are always ahead of us. We don't anticipate enough for their next moves. And I think that's where we should maybe put greater attention. That's where also I would call for caution. Even though we have challenges about abuses, it's real, about online content, about hate speech, about bullying. We need, I think, to have a multi-stakeholders approach on policies and in collaborative efforts, not only horizontally but also vertically. Because if we leave room and if we open space for policing, government will just use it for internet restriction, for liberal laws, and that's where I see the important work that civil society needs to do, but also internet users. Pressure pays. Sudan, Algeria, Ethiopia. There are many good examples, and internet has played a key role in that. So for me, I think there are good things, best practices, and I'm hoping that the conversation these 2 days will consist on seeing how these best practices can be replicated. And also, something I would like us to keep in mind and also factor in is the issue of artificial intelligence and the intersect on human rights and artificial intelligence. It's not something that we are really currently leading in the debate in Africa. And it affects us. It affects our way of living. It affects the use, data privacy, the big fours, Google, WhatsApp, Twitter, you name them. And there's some serious issue going on there. And I think also to not be always behind and trying to catch up, anticipating and triggering the agency from Africa and from us, and not hooking on debates that have been initiated elsewhere and that are about us.
Thank you so much.
I can't help being a lawyer and a human rights practitioner from being pedantic a little. I think that if we look at the definition of freedom of expression, there is the positive aspect of it and there is a negative. The negative is that government should abstain from interfering in anything, in any way that will disturb the enjoyment of every individual's right to freely express themselves. But there is also the positive. So a lot of us focus on the negative, don't interfere, don't set up barriers, but there is also the positive aspect of it. There is a positive obligation on the part of the government to provide access to information. And that is not just, print or radio or television. It includes the internet. As all of us here in this room, in our different ways, are activists, I want to urge us to take this on. Too many people are excluded, and we're letting the governments get away with it. We need to begin, and just jumping onto and linking it up to the question around how to get youths engaged, create the issue. People organize and carry out activism around an issue. It could be a hashtag. We've talked a lot about sexual and gender-based violence, rape. A lot of conversations are going on the internet about rape. I mean, my children let me into their space some time ago, and I was shocked. They wanted to a psychologist who you can talk to before you start your work on research and looking at some of these images that can be so traumatic. And then while you're on a mission, when you're back from a mission, and we have medical care that covers every part of that. We have two people who are also social workers who work with us, and I would encourage you, if you do this work, don't take it for granted that you'll be fine. Don't say, you know, I just sit down in front of it. Even television can be traumatizing. There are some things that you watch, you don't know how much it affects you. I will encourage you, find a way, one, to ensure that there are people you talk to who help you decompress what you have seen, what you've heard, and then help you to process the information. It's absolutely important, because it's only the healthy who can be activists, who can help other people organize and achieve impact. I'll stop there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nothing else to add. Just to say, can you please put your hands together for Manuela, Awa, and Mausi. Thank you very much for being on this opening panel. And I look forward to the conversations that will happen today and tomorrow on all the issues that have been raised here and even more. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy Drift 19.
I want to congratulate Paradigm Initiative for this all-women panel. It's not very common.
Yeah, I allowed you to be the moderator of the panel. Okay, so just to say that we are not going to have the local content creation and content regulation panel. The person who is organizing this panel was not able to make it for some reason, had an emergency and wasn't able to make it. So the partner, Hivos, that is organizing the local content, so you can cross it out in your brochure. We received this news just about last night. So there was no time to take it out. Local content creation and content regulation will no longer take place, but every other thing in this schedule proceeds as planned. So, for instance, this is Ijakadi room. For those of you who came a bit late, this room we are currently in is Ijakadi room. So the room across is Nnamdi Azikiwe. The room across this hall, just on the opposite side, is Nnamdi Azikiwe. And down the hallway is Alvani Koku. So right now, here is where the moving policymakers into actions to advance digital inclusion conversation is taking place. So that session will take place here just now. We already have the CEO of Main One is here, the country manager of Avanti, the director of ICTs of the Ministry of Communications here in Nigeria, the deputy director and policy lead for the Alliance for Affordable Internet, the former chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission and current national coordinator of Alliance for Affordable Internet, the program manager for CPESA. All of these panelists are here in this room right now, and they will just proceed to start this conversation. If you would like to join the 5G and human rights conversation, that will take place at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Hall across this. So let's just get into that as quickly as possible. Thank you. Again, internet password for this conference, RBH19. R for Radisson, B for Blue, H for House. Radisson Blue guests. Then you can use the password to get on the internet. Thank you. Let's just do that quickly to start the panel here and then move to the next room if you want to join that conversation.
I was just going to invite you to please come forward. Yes, please, yeah.
algae.